Welcome to Short Game Long Talk, a video game podcast for a hectic life. I'm Eric, one of your hosts, and I'm joined always by our other co-host who is in an even smaller room than the last episode.
Hi guys, I'm Jess.
I always have to try to throw you off and see where you'll jump in. Eventually you're just going to start jumping in while I'm talking, and I'm cool with that. And we're joined for the fifth time, setting the record for most times as a guest host, is Grace. She's back.
Hi.
This is a long episode in the running because we recorded back in, I think it was January or February. Might have been January. Might have been the first episode of the year, actually, that we recorded with Grace and determined what it was like to grow up without Pokemon, because Grace grew up in a cult, and determined what the best Pokemon game would be for her to start based on accessibility, her interests, all that kind of stuff. It's a good episode. Go listen to it. And that was in January. Grace finished the game in April. I finished it 2 months ago. And that now we're here finally. We played Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. I did Diamond, right?
I did Shining Pearl.
Okay. Yeah. I forgot. And yeah, this game was good. It's a Pokemon game. It's pretty cut and dry. Overall, Grace, what was your did you like it? Did you have fun?
Yeah, I loved it. I had a great time. I had a really good time. I mean, even the parts that I was pissed about, I thought it was a fun thing to be pissed about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
very curious what that means.
Did you ever hate watch something? You know it's bad, but you like it, but you hate it, but you like it.
It's basically Pokemon in a nutshell.
That was all my beefs with Pokemon. Never negated my love for Pokemon.
Right.
So I loved it. I loved it the whole time, even when I hated it. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Does that clear things up for you, Eric?
No, not at all. But I get it. Yeah, because I mean, Pokemon is Pokemon. I'm always gonna love Pokemon, even though these games have been basically the same since 2005, right? Yeah, these games came out in either 2020 or 2021. They're remakes of Gen 4, and they are basically just cut and dry remakes. Even to the point where the battling and stuff is in 3D, it's 3D designed. It's not pixel in Gen 4. The art style is chibi now to make it kind of seem, because back in the day the little pixel characters were just tiny little chibi things, but they were pixel. So this game kind of had a lot of it was love and hate, because people are yeah, this is dope, it's exactly what I wanted, it's just a complete remake of Gen 4. But typically these games, when they got a remake, get kind of a nice coat of paint on them, get some extra stuff in it, some new story, some kind of but that didn't happen, right? So I have a feeling that this game was a bit of a experimentation, because it's worth noting that Game Freak, the typical developers of this game, did not develop this remake. A studio called PLI did it, and they're the first people ever to make a mainline Pokemon game that wasn't Game Freak. So my theory was that they basically did this to test the waters on how they could do these remakes easily, and if people would like that. But I don't know if people liked it enough to just do cut and dry remakes like that. But that's kind of the iffiness about this game. But we were kind of talking off mic about the story, and the story is very simple, and we didn't really pay attention to it. But was there anything that stood out to you before I just go straight into a plot synopsis?
The story?
Yeah.
No, not really. I thought that the little friend was funny, but that was.
We're going to contest that. I fucking hate Barry.
Oh, you hate Barry? I just thought it was a funny thing to that it just randomly he just came back and then would run off and then come back.
Yeah, he's psychotic. He's completely ADHD. Jess, what do you think of this generation in general?
I mean, obviously, I have all of my love for this like, I grew up playing Diamond, like, on my DS with my brothers. So I love this game. I love the generation, and obviously one of my favorite starters um comes from this one. So I love it. I know it's not the most favored at times, but
Yeah.
What did
It's-
everybody pick for their starter?
I think we all picked. So I waited for you guys. I always like just pick the third one, whoever's left. I'm the professor's assistant that just picks what's ever left over. Because I made sure Grace got first pick, and you ended up going with Turtwig, correct?
Turtwig.
Who's the
boy.
fucking best? He's up in my corner over here, up in the top shelf. And then I talked to Jess about it before she even started playing. I was like, "You're gonna pick your favorite, obviously, which is Piplup."
Glub.
Piplup
So
is
I was
cute.
like, I'll take Chimchar. I don't fucking care. Chimchar is dope as hell. There is no bad starter in this generation. Absolutely not a bad choice. I even think all of the evolutions are good too, which is like crazy. Like all
That's
three of them.
debatable.
I'm so curious what you think. Because I think they're all very good. But yeah, that's what we did, which was cool. But I enjoyed this game. It's a good just I'm gonna say it a million times. It's just a good Pokemon game. There's nothing groundbreaking about it, but it's like just gets the job done. And overall the Pokedex is really good. My team was like completely varied. I'd never used like most of these Pokemon before. But we'll talk more about that after kind of just going over the plot. Because there isn't really. I don't even think there's going to be a spoiler section in this, to be completely honest. Because, guys, it's Pokemon.
Like vibes.
Yeah, like you catch Pokemon. They like the biggest spoiler that will happen for Pokemon is me telling you what something evolves into, and guess what? You need to see it to make it a spoiler. So like literally not a problem at all. So I don't think we'll have a spoiler discussion really. So I'm just gonna go straight into the plot unless we have anything else we want to talk about because the plot is just so straightforward.
Go for it.
Okay. So it's very simple. I am reading like a little blurb on here, and I thought this was actually interesting. The whole reason this game takes place is because there's a broadcast about a red Gyarados in the Lake of Rage, which is like what happens is a big plot point in Gen 2. And I was like, oh, I never realized that. I never picked up on that at all. But apparently that's what sends you and your friend to go out looking at a lake and you get attacked by a bunch of birds and you pick a Pokemon. And then you go from there. After that, you kind of like team up with a professor. You meet Don or what is his name? Lucas. I never would have remembered that. That is the professor's assistant. I'm assuming both of you picked the Dawn character to play as the girl. Dawn is one of the best designed Pokemon characters of all time.
I love Dawn.
Yeah. There's a reason Lucas doesn't exist in the anime. He sucks. He's so boring, but I picked him because I'd much rather have Dawn as a character than Lucas. But we'll get into the differences. There's really the only difference is the clothes, and I'm very jealous of the clothes that girls got to wear in Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. But then we get our star Pokemon. We go and fight a gym. It's even the rock gym, just like Brock, to kind of showcase that this is like a soft reboot. It's the first game on the like back in the day. It was the first game on the DS. It's a soft reboot of the franchise and kind of just like, hey, it's cut and dry. We got the rock gym. This is where they introduced the mechanic of rock polishing and digging and all that, though, which Jess talked about in the previous episode. That's like her favorite thing. It is in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, to a much less satisfying degree, I feel like, though, because it's just like your finger instead of a stylus.
I had a good time. Every time I went back and played Pokemon, I went back to my little badges and I polished them all to make sure they were shiny, and then I would continue playing. And I thought of you every time, Jess.
Let's go.
I think I got to the 7th gym badge before I was like, oh yeah, I should probably polish these things. They were just black basically. By then I was like, well, it shows my journey, obviously.
Yes.
We were talking a bit off mic about this. Of the gym leaders, I can't really, there's like 2 that stand out to me. So like we get the Rock Gym with Rourke, who's like a young gym leader, which I always kind of like. I always like when they introduce a young gym leader because it's like they're fresh. They did that in Gen 3 already and probably in Gen 2 as well. Next up is Gardena, who's the grass type gym leader. Her design is cool. I don't remember anything about her. Maylene, the fighting type gym. Then this one, just because this fucking design is incredible and the man stands under a waterfall the entire time waiting for you, is Crasher Wake, who's a professional wrestler. Like that is what a gym leader should be, like every single time. Absolutely insane character. Yeah, so badass. I love that. He's just a water type gym leader who like trains under a waterfall like fucking Goku. It's great. Fantina is the ghost type gym. I would assume, Grace, did you have any connection with that gym since all of your favorites are basically on her team?
I mean, I just had a good time at all the gyms.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Well, we'll talk about that. Yeah. Her design is phenomenal with like ghost type gym, like gym leaders or ghost type trainers in Pokemon games. Always incredible design. Byron is I guess the steel type gym leader, but he's Rourke's dad, which is interesting at least. They're like, oh, there's a connection. He just looks like old Brock to me, which is strange. Candace, the ice type Pokemon Pokemon gym leader, and then Volkner, who is like the electric gym. Honestly, I'm sure there's people out there who love these people because like there always is, right? I love Gen 3's gym lineup. I think they're great. But aside from like those gym leaders are pretty basic overall. But yeah, you get those during that time throughout like intermixed. You're dealing with the team of this game, which is Team Galactic, whose end goal is to, I had to look it up because I couldn't remember, create their own universe that they have control over, which
We love that.
sure. It's led by Cyrus, which I said I was going to make a joke about this. It's not really a joke so much as, do you remember what Cyrus looks like?
No.
So I'm going to just throw his image in the chat for us so you guys can see, because this is a joke that is shown quite a bit. So yeah. Well, how old do we think this man is?
Like 40?
Yeah.
Right?
45.
This man is 27 years old.
No, he's not.
He is 27, and it is a continuous joke that he just looks like he is so old.
He has the furrowed brow of a man that has retired.
He has the furrowed brow of a man who like has furrowed his eyebrows off. Like they're gone.
Yeah, he only has the furrow, no brow.
Cyrus is 27. He is 4 years younger than me. And that is just crazy.
There's no shot.
Yeah. But basically, he and his cronies, they steal 3 mystical Pokemon that are like the guardians of the lake. We have to intervene. And along this time, we're with our friend Barry, who continuously runs into us and never stops moving, basically, and just like is complete chaos incarnate. He's redone. His character is like redone as another character. There's a spiritual successor to Barry in like Pokemon X and Y. I forget her name, but she's also blonde and wears green as her primary color and just crashes into people all the time. It's a running joke that just drives me absolutely insane. But yeah, we go and do that. We stop Team Galactic. They summon either Palkia or Dialga based on the game that you play. You beat Cyrus, the 27-year-old. And capture the Pokemon, and then you go beat Volkner, who's the last gym. And then we go on to the Elite Four. So, Elite Four, it was, again, these guys don't really stand out to me. The The first guy's name is Aaron. Didn't remember that. Bertha, Flint. Flint is memorable because he shows up a couple times throughout the game at least. There's always one of those Elite Four members who shows up a couple times as like, hey, we exist, we interact with the world, which I always like. And then Lucian, and then the most memorable character, the champion, Cynthia, who is a hell of a final fight. She is quite strong. And there's a reason, like, I definitely think they tuned her up for this game because since the original Diamond and Pearl came out, like, Cynthia has become, like, extra legendary and extra beloved. So I feel like they just, like, tuned her to the max. And I think she actually has, like, IV and EV trained, like, competitive Pokemon on her team because there's some certain stuff that I'm like, that should have killed her. That should have done it and did not. So that's the plot. Then you become champion.
Yep.
I feel like just talking about teams.
Okay. Like final teams?
We can talk about our journey, right? My team, one of the fun things, Grace, that you'll start to do if you ever replay Pokemon games in the future is you can actually like map out your teams and just be like, I'm just going to go for these, right? Because there's no spoilers. I'm not going to be shocked by who's in this game anymore. I should just plan out my team. And that's what I did. Jess, do you remember when you originally played? Do you remember anything of your team as a whole?
Ooh.
Aside from Piplup, obviously.
Oh my gosh, it's been so long. Because like I played this when I was in like 5th grade, and I am now a sophomore in college.
Right. I should ask, are you a person that uses like legendary Pokemon when you catch them? Do you keep them on your team?
Back then, very much so. Now I'm a sweat, so I'm like, I want to do it without all the legendaries.
Right. Grace, did you keep any legendaries that you caught?
No.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I mean, no, I didn't. I didn't catch the one I wanted to catch, which was the one that like moves around, and that's really the only cute legendary Pokemon in that game. And so I gave up.
I don't know which one that is. Is that one of the Guardians?
Yeah, it was the one with the little star-shaped head. I can't remember.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. But yeah, Jess, what was some of your experience? Do you remember Pokemon that stood out to you in this gen that you played way back in the day?
There's one, but I can't remember if it was this generation or not. Hold on. I'm looking it up. I just need to make sure that it's in the game. One of my favorite Pokemon back then, and still to this day, was Ponyta and Rapidash. I would always call them Epona.
Epona, yeah, that's a Gen 1 staple. I love the Ponyta line. Yeah, they're definitely in this because I think some of the Elite Four guy has a Rapidash. So yeah, that's a great line.
Those are my favorites. Literally go Piplup, Ponyta.
That's so funny. Yeah, they're very cute lines, so that makes sense, especially when you're younger.
They're so girly pop. I love them.
And you've seen the variant, right? Because Grace discovered the variant of Ponyta.
Oh yeah.
In between, after she beat this game, she discovered it.
Like the
I was playing. No, the variant. I found it in Pokemon Go, and it was like I was like, who is this Ponyta that is like a My Little Ponyta?
It's literally what people called it. It's from Sword and Shield.
Yes, you mentioned that because you keep saying that that's the one I would like.
Yeah, Galarian Ponyta. It's literally incredible.
It's so cute.
Yeah.
So I've never seen it. Like a little unicorn.
For those listening, it's basically a very cute pony with like cotton candy hair.
Cotton candy hair.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's a good Pokemon too. So, Grace, tell me about your journey with these Pokemon.
Well, I am one of those people that skips past dialogue a lot.
You can do that in Pokemon games,
and
especially this one because they introduced a quest mechanic, which is nice. Like,
I did
actually with the little flag, they're like, "Go here."
Oh yeah, I did like that. They didn't have that in the other ones.
I think they started doing it on the Switch, but prior to this, well, no, actually, I think they did it in Sun and Moon, which was Gen 7, I think. I think they started doing it, but it's not like it's now they actually tell you like what that is. Back then, it was just like here's a flag, go there. I'm like, okay, cool.
Oh,
Now they're
okay.
like, this is why you're going here. It's like, okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I know at one point they explained like what types are best for what types, to battle like very specific types.
Right.
But I could never remember, so I just kept having to like pull up a chart and like double check.
Okay. Yeah. I like have played Pokemon forever.
Yeah.
There are always type matchups I can't remember. Like there
Okay,
are certain
good.
ones where I'm like, got it, right? I know that. I know the ones where it's like electric is super effective against flying, ice is super effective against flying, but then you get to the weird
Mhm.
ones where it's like dragon is super effective against dragon. Dragon has no effect against fairy, like those weird ones
Mhm.
that come up. The those are examples of ones where you might just need to look it up. It's always just worth it, like to
Yeah.
just know.
Yeah. To
And
just have it.
now one of the best things that they've introduced in the last, I think that one started in either X and Y or Sun and Moon, is the super effective. Like it just says, like if you fought that Pokemon before, it says if that move will be super effective, not effective, no
Oh
effect,
yeah,
whatever.
that was
And
super helpful.
yeah,
And that applied to when you were like picking your team too. It would like kind of, or if you were like swapping out a Pokemon, you
hmm
could see if like the Pokemon you were gonna select would have been
yeah,
effective or not, which was so helpful.
super,
Um,
super, super effective, I would say.
yes. Yeah. So I felt like there were a lot of like little things like that that were really, really helpful about the gameplay. Um, my as far as like my team, I feel like first of all, I really only use the cute Pokemon that I thought were cute.
Of course.
And then I like interchange them depending on like who I was fighting. Like if I
hmm
was going into a very specific gym, I would like take some out and put some in and whatever.
hmm
I had so much beef with the evolutions though.
Oh man, tell me about it.
Ugh. Okay, so Psyduck. My Psyduck, I was like, he was so powerful. He was so strong. And I was
Uh,
like, yes, this is the best. And he was so cute. His little aqua tail,
yeah,
that like attack, he like turns around and wiggles his little Psyduck butt. And it was so powerful and cute. And then he evolved into
yeah,
Golduck. You know what's not cute? Golduck's aqua tail.
yeah. Because he doesn't really have a cute butt.
He doesn't. He's not like a little chonky, confused duck. He's like a
Yeah,
fucking weird blue, spiky haired. I was so mad.
yeah,
So, and I know. Johnny, my husband kept telling me, and you kept telling me, you can hit B when they're evolving and they won't evolve. But I was
yeah,
like, I have to let nature take its course. If they're evolving, I just have to let it happen. I can't like hold my children back, you know?
yeah.
Like,
I
that would
get
be
you.
wrong. So yeah, I had a lot of beef with a lot of the evolutions. I can't remember now. I know I texted you pictures when I would be super pissed.
Yeah. Let me
Um,
see while you're. Well, how did you feel about Turtwig and his evolution
I
line?
I mean, it's the same as Psyduck. Like Turtwig is so cute, and when you throw your little Pokeball and he hops out with his little front arms like in front of him,
Yeah,
like doing like a full-on sprawl hop. He was
yeah.
so cute, and it just doesn't hit the same when he's just a huge tortoise with a mountain on his back. Like it's just
Torterra
not
is
a
so dope,
Torterra.
though.
I love Torterra.
but he's not
When
cute.
I
I think he's cute.
debatable.
Yeah.
When I so back like in 5th, 6th grade, I was really into Pokemon cards,
Mhm.
and we had a hollow Torterra card, and it was like it was also some type of like special edition or something. I don't fully
Mhm.
remember it. Whenever my brothers hear this, they can uh come for me however they want. But that was our pride and joy. We loved that. I loved the card. I love the way Torterra is like designed. I think he's so cute.
I think he's.
It is a very creative design. I will admit that. But I was in it for the vibes exclusively.
It looks like another one that you sent me was Whaleren, which was it went
Oh,
from
this
Spiel, the little
yeah.
seal Pokemon, to I forget its middle evolution, and then yeah, a
Yeah, like
giant
a
wall.
walrus
Yeah,
thing that like had like Einstein hair for some reason.
yeah,
Yeah. That like what? Like
And then you sent me Munchlax to Snorlax. Were you not happy about that?
No, I was really excited about
Okay.
that.
Okay. I was like, I thought you loved Snorlax. You
I
own Snorlax
love
merch.
Snorlax.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
And it looks
Yeah.
like you also sent me a Clefable, which means that you had a Clefable, which is a dream
That
come
was
true, I'm
exciting.
sure.
That
Yeah.
was really exciting. That was a
Yeah.
very exciting moment. But also, okay, I had a little bit of an advantage that maybe I wouldn't have had if my husband wasn't like super into Pokemon.
Mhm.
So he played the Arceus?
Yeah.
Okay.
I say
He played
Arceus.
Okay. He played that one on the Switch before. So when I was playing Shining Pearl, I went and talked to this one. I was talking to everybody. I was like
Right.
trying to make sure I didn't miss
RPG.
anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Wait.
what?
You just said you skipped dialogue, so you're just talking to people just to be like
Yeah.
mash through it. Like
Just to see if I can unlock something. Literally, I did
Love
not
it.
listen to a word they said, but I
That's
got a
okay.
Mew, and then I found out later it was because there
Mhm.
was already saved data on my Switch from
Yeah.
another Pokemon game. So it was
I
like,
got that.
yeah, and then I just had Mew on my team for from very early on to like the whole game.
Yeah.
So
Mew's a
he's
good little
Mew's
mythical Pokemon.
great. Oh my god, he's so cute too.
I
And he
love
doesn't
Mew.
evolve.
No. He learns every move too, which is nice.
Correct. He can learn
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Mew
Yeah,
is
so
definitely mythical Pokemon. I don't feel as weird about, but legendary Pokemon are definitely an issue for me when I'm like playing myself.
mhm.
But mythical is not as bad because they're just usually little cuties. They're
Yeah.
less of a busted Pokemon.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, and I think the most fun part for me was the gyms, like the kind of you had to like
The
solve
puzzles.
like puzzles.
Mhm.
Yeah, to get there.
Yeah, I do remember enjoying those. I think they are all pretty well done.
Mhm.
I think they utilize just like the 2D plane really well.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's always fun to see what they're gonna do with the gyms. Because yeah, they're always pretty easy.
Mhm.
Like puzzle wise, but they're a nice little distraction from just like walking from one gym to the other kind of thing.
Yeah, and like getting into fights constantly.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Did you do a lot of grinding at all? Do you remember at all?
I think I started off doing grinding, but then I was realizing that I was like way too strong for all the
Mhm.
gyms because every time I would go in, it would be like super easy.
Mhm.
Um, so then I started using the repels because I
Yeah,
was getting annoyed. It was taking
there's
me forever.
definitely a I feel like it happens in every Pokemon game. It like starts out where it's like, if you get to like level 15 with most of your Pokemon, that first gym's going to be a joke, which will go into the next like 3 gyms, maybe 4 gyms of making it fairly easy. And then there's
Mhm.
eventually a point where it like you start to, because it takes so much time to level up, the gyms start to catch up to you, which is
Mhm.
nice. That's when it starts to actually get difficult. Like the Elite Four I was like, damn, these guys got some high level Pokemon. I was like, all
Yeah.
right, you gotta go. I got a plan. I gotta do stuff. But before we get to that,
Mhm.
did what was your final team? Who was your roster? Right, I used 8 Pokemon for the whole game. That was it.
I'm gonna send it to you. Can you send it to Jess?
Yeah,
Okay. I have a whole ass story about this shit.
that's what I want.
Did it go through?
Not yet.
All right.
There it is. Okay. Oh shit! It's a video. No way.
Oh, yeah, I took a
Dang,
little screen recording.
dang. These are some chaunchy boys.
I went team big boy
You literally did.
and then Mew. Please
Yeah, and
send
then
it to
Mew is
Jess.
just there.
Send it to Jess,
Okay.
Eric.
I'm working on it.
Please send it.
God, this team is incredible, Grace. Oh, I am so honestly, I'm like disappointed Mew is on there just because like you're missing one more like just chunchy boy on there because there's a perfect one that's on my team that would have been perfect on your team.
Oh no, wait, okay. We'll go through it in a second. I want to see
He's not
Jess's
as
card.
cute,
Okay.
but
Well,
he's a chunch.
I think we should all send if you have a picture
Yeah.
of your final team.
Yeah.
I wanna see it.
Let me throw it into like one image to make it easier. You see that bottom left? That's your final chunchy boy over there. Or even, but you already had a ghost type. But okay, so we are gonna go over the teams now.
Okay.
But actually,
Final
no, we're gonna go over Jess's card that she sent.
Yes.
Torterra
Okay.
Yeah.
X.
Action.
That
That is a good looking card.
We
It is.
loved that card, and it was the one we had was hollow too.
Mhm.
So like it shimmered, but then we had a tragedy where somehow, some way, someone left the Pokemon cards outside, and a gust of wind blew Torterra into the pool.
Oh no. Okay, I will say the art on this is great. It's very dynamic. Torterra's like climbing out of the card. And like I don't know if he's like sucking in air real fast or blowing it out, but he's got some breath thing happening and it's sick.
It is. It looks good.
Yeah, I love it.
All right. So, Jess, you
Yes.
should go over the Pokemon that you did catch before we go into our final final teams.
So this is completely like right before we started, or right while we were talking, I was like writing down everyone that I remembered. I only remembered 4 of them. And one of them is Piplup.
Okay, so 3 of them.
Listen.
It was a non surprise that Piplup was on your team.
So I had Zubat.
Cute.
I love Zubs.
I love Zubat. He's so cute.
He's really cute.
And then wait, where's my list? Hold on.
Zubat is an interesting one that I feel like Grace would love and hate the evolutions, because the original final evolution was Golbat, which is like just big ass mouth Pokemon.
Yes.
And then it evolves into Crobat, which is then a purple bat with like 4 wings and looks dope.
Yeah, no, I like those. What do you mean love hate? I love
You love
Zubat, I love
Golbat?
Golbat, I love Crobat. They're like grumpy little marshmallows. All of them.
Okay. I'm gonna eventually get that honed in on which ones I can predict that you'll love or hate.
If that's okay, here's the thing. If it's trying to look cool, like, oh, that's a cool design, I don't like it. But if it's trying to just like be like a derpy little guy just all the way through, I'm into it.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Where'd it go? Like I had it on a sticky note in here, and now it's gone.
Rest in peace.
Well, we got Zubs.
Yes.
Zubat. Zubs. Love Zubs. I hate that Zubs is always up in my fucking business, but I love Zubat, but he's a pain in the ass. He's everywhere.
Oh yeah. Like as soon as you go into a cave, it's just like every 2 steps you get a Zubat.
Yeah.
I know I had the one with the roses.
Oh, Roselia.
Roselia.
Yeah.
She's so cutesy. I love her.
She was a cutie.
Oh my gosh, who else was it? I'm trying to like look through like my deleted sticky notes because maybe it's there, but like I can't find it. Whatever. I had very cutesy ones. I went completely with very, very cutesy. I didn't care about their actual stats.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot remember everything else.
Honestly, the only time I had to actually care about what I was doing was against Cynthia, because she's a fucking monster.
Dude, Cynthia was a nightmare.
Yeah. It took me, I think, like 2 or 3 tries. It was nuts.
I think I had a bird somewhere in there, but I cannot remember.
What is the regional bird? Is Starly the one with a little curly Q on top?
I think so.
Yeah, it's a good Pokemon. Oh yeah, that was something that another great quality of life change is the fact that they adopted the like ride Pokemon basically that were introduced in Sun and Moon and have continued in every other game. You don't need a Pokemon to like fly or use strength or whatever. Like just that used to be like you used to have a Pokemon that was like ready to go. That's Starly. Yeah.
I had that one.
He's a cutie. So yeah, continuing the ride Pokemon or like the job Pokemon or whatever you want to say. That's always great.
Johnny was saying that Bidoof was like the OG. Like you just load him up with all of the TMs or whatever. Was it a TM or HM?
HM. Hidden move. Yeah. That was another thing. Speaking of HMs to TMs, like now all TMs are reusable forever. And I hate that they didn't just adjust that for this game. It's like such an annoying thing to like have to, because it's so much more fun to just be able to like throw. Ooh, I have this Pokemon that can learn this move. Let me just throw it on there.
Oh yeah, rather than being like super strategic.
One of the biggest things that they changed in Scarlet and Violet that I feel like no one fucking talks about is the fact that instead of deleting a move permanently, it's just not on your active move list. So you can go into the Pokemon and change their moves and pull from their polls or their pool of moves. It's incredible.
Okay, wait. This was something I actually put in my notes. I was super annoyed that it would ask you to replace a move with a new one and they would learn a new move, but it would not give you the stats of what that move was. So it was like you're asking me a yes and no question without information.
If you do yes, then it'll take you to the screen and you can hover over the new move.
Correct. But like that was a whole extra step to figure out what the fuck this new move is. And a lot of the times, okay, I did not like the moves that were like, with the exception of Sleep from like the ghost type Pokemon, I did not like the moves that were like charmed or whatever, like the little winky ones that were supposed to like improve your stats in one way or another.
Yeah.
Those were a waste of moves.
I've always hated those moves.
That is a very like beginner Pokemon. Like eventually like I think there's like memes going around of like it's like a move that does no damage. Get that shit out of here.
Yes, get it out of here. What a waste of space.
It's very helpful though for setting up what's called a sweeper, but you don't have to worry about that except in a battle against Cynthia, where it's very helpful to buff your Pokemon.
Okay. Are we ready to get into final teams?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right. Eric,
do
you want to go first?
Yeah, I want to go first. Mine's way less like exciting because like I pre-planned my team. I had my full team basically in 5 hours. Like I was
I'm sure mine makes no sense to people who actually play Pokemon.
But I mean, that doesn't matter. This is your first time ever. This is your first final Pokemon team. Like how exciting is that? You only get one of those.
That's true.
Yeah, my team, I'm not gonna say saddled, but that's the only other word I got stuck with Chimchar, who I love. I think he's great. So I obviously named him after Goku. So his name is Kakarot, which set up my theme of naming every character after something in Dragon Ball. So of my 8 Pokemon that I used throughout, I have Quagsire named Zeno, who from Dragon Ball Super. He's like the god of the universe, of every universe. I have a Pachirisu named Chaozu for obvious reasons. He's got the same little cheeks. I have I forget what these things are called, but I didn't end up using it. But it's it's groundwater, which I ended up switching for Quagsire. I always forget what this thing's called, but it's named after
like a little slug thing.
Yeah, it's named Kefla after a character in Dragon Ball Super. Couldn't think of a good name for that one. Then I have Vespiquen, which I'd never used before. I've never used a Pachirisu either. I've partially used a Quagsire before, but Vespiquen I named after Bulma because obviously she's the queen of Dragon Ball. Then I had the what is the evolution of what is that called? I'm trying to remember what it is.
Snowy tree Pokemon?
Yeah, no, I have a joke about that's Obama Snow. I fucking love him. I have a joke about him, but his name was Piccolo. But yeah, he's the 44th president, Obama Snow. Drifloom to what is its name? What does it evolve into? I can't remember. But it's Drifloom's evolution. I need to look it up. It's gonna kill me. Oh my god.
While you do that, I got the slug's name.
Oh yeah, thank you. What is it?
First evolution is Shellos. This one is Gastrodon.
Thank you. Gastrodon. Very good Pokemon. Thank you. Yeah, very good, very competitively viable Pokemon. So I was like, I want to use it. But then I just got bored of it. And I was like, Quagsire's right there. So I'm going to go grab Quagsire because he's great. Drifblim is the evolution of Drifloon. That's named Nimbus after the cloud that Goku flies on. And then I have what I wanted to get a Roserade. That's the final evolution of Roselia. That was named Whis after another character from Dragon Ball Super. But I gave up on Roselia to Roserade when I found out that I would have to grind for the stone or wait until post game. And I was like, I'm not doing either of those things. So my final team was Kakarot, obviously. Then I had Zeno, the Quagsire. I had Chaozu, the Pachirisu. I had the 44th president, Piccolo, the Obama Snow. And then I had Nimbus, the Driftbloom, and Bulma, the Vespiquen. That was my final team. It's a very strange team. It was not super aesthetically pleasing, but they fucking kicked ass. All of them were so strong. It was crazy. That Vespiquen was an absolute menace. It was crazy. But yeah, that was my team. I've never used any of those Pokemon except for Infernape. That was the only Pokemon I ever used prior. So that's usually what I try to do when I replay games, is try to use a team I've never used before. But yeah, Grace.
Yeah. Okay.
Please walk me through this incredible team that I'm looking at right now.
Oh,
With your outfit too, that you're like color coordinated pretty well.
I color coordinated my character with my Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I always had a Pokemon out walking with me. That was another thing. That was a must. I refused to leave my Pokemon in the ball.
Yeah.
Okay, so my final team was Snorlax, Licky Licky, Gengar, Clefable, Mew, and Quagsire.
Yeah, that is a fucking
lineup of the century.
Yeah.
They are unbothered, moisturized, adorable round boys, except for Mew, who is just a little guy. But Mew was my Mew basically carried the team.
Yeah.
Now, here's what happened with the final four, the Elite Four, and Cynthia.
Yes.
Okay. When I was battling the other gym leaders, what I would do first is I would poke in, fight one of them, see if I needed to change anything out or grind or anything, and then I'd hop back out and I'd like do what I needed to do, and then I'd go back in and I'd beat the gym. Okay, that was my strategy. Now, before I go into the Elite Four, I was like to my husband, I was like, Johnny, if I go in here, I can still get back out, right? I can still do this like the strategy I've been doing. Yeah. And he was like, yeah, I'm pretty positive you can.
Johnny.
No,
that's never been a thing.
You fucking can't. Okay. So my Snorlax and my Quagsire were almost useless. I had to defeat the final four and Cynthia with 4 Pokemon instead of 6.
That's rough.
Oh my god. And then he was like, if you just lose, then it'll kick you back out and you can like whatever. Right. But it was I don't know if I didn't believe him. I was like, you've already steered me wrong once.
You've already lied.
There's no way I trust you. Like, what if I lose and I have to start the whole game over again? Or like, what if something horrible happens to my Pokemon?
Oh my god.
And I can't get them back for whatever reason. You know, like I was just too scared to give up. So I just kept having to shut off my Switch and start again and like whatever. I probably fought Cynthia like 25 times, maybe even more. Like, and I was like looking at guides of like, okay, how can I like rework this like and make it happen? I went through, it was nuts.
Dude.
Yeah,
what a struggle, but what a triumph at the same time.
I know. It really felt very satisfying when they finally came out the other end and like I fucking won. Yeah.
Because the other thing is that if you just keep failing against the Elite Four, you can just like grind out experience points. So like you would have gotten stronger if you died. Yeah.
See, I didn't want to risk it at that point. It was too late. The stakes were too high.
Johnny screwed you. That's
and he's always like, I didn't mean to. I tried to tell you could lose. And I was like, no.
I don't trust you. Yeah. Dang, that's crazy. Because I remember like this was the only time I had to grind. I was like,
Oh my
I
god.
got to Cynthia. She absolutely curb stomped my ass, and I was
Yeah.
like, we're this means business. I have to go back into that Victory Road cave and just
Yeah.
grind
I-
out.
Keep
I
going.
want to say that my Licky, Gengar, Clefable, and Mew were all into the 70s with their
Mhm.
level, but my Quagsire and my Snorlax were like level 40. Like they
Oh
were,
fuck.
Damn.
yeah, like I cannot emphasize enough how
Yeah.
not helpful they were. They were basically, I had to put them out to buy time to like heal
Yeah.
Mew or Gengar. I loved
Yeah.
using Gengar, by the way. The Sleep
I
Dream
know.
Eater combo was like
Wow.
just the
You did
best
you did
1-2
that, yeah.
punch. Yeah.
Yeah, for reference, Cynthia's team, a full 6 Pokemon,
Mhm.
which whenever that shows up in a Pokemon game is terrifying, unless it's against a fisherman, because that usually means it's like 6 Magikarp. Um, but so she has a level 61 Spirit Tomb, which fun thing about Spirit Tomb is it doesn't have any weaknesses because it's Ghost Dark, so it literally doesn't have anything that does super effective damage. Level 60 Roserade, level 60 Gastrodon, level 63 Lucario, level 63 Melodic, and then a level 66 Garchomp. That Melodic is a bitch.
Yeah.
I love that Pokemon so much. And that was how I knew these things were fucking EV and IV trained because I have an EV and IV trained Melodic and it took just as much damage as mine. I was like, oh, that is scary. But yeah, I think my Pokemon, I'm looking at them right now, I all ended up in the mid 60s to low 70s.
Mhm.
Just because, like, yeah, I knew these Pokemon were not that good for the most part, and I was like, I gotta give them the edge. Oh man, but yeah, Cynthia's a hell of a champion for
Oh
sure.
my god. I was
Yeah.
like it took me days. I don't think you guys understand. No, you do. I know you do. I can tell you do.
Yeah, that is
Ugh.
you had like the actual, like, if you had played Pokemon when it came out or you had played
Mhm.
in like 2003 with like Gen 3, you had like the actual inexperienced Pokemon experience of like you're
I
doing
did.
fine, you have your little workarounds, you're doing your stuff, and then you
Mhm.
made a mistake and you're like, well, I can't fuck up again. And
Yeah.
like thinking that you couldn't do something even though you could, but you're too scared not to because it's like the late 90s and no one knows like anything. And then
Yeah.
you just had to pound your fucking head against the wall until you beat the champion. Like that, you had like the quintessential like childhood Pokemon experience.
Experience? That's
Yeah.
great. I love that. Look at that.
Yeah, it
We
worked
did
out.
it. You guys
Yeah.
made that happen.
Oh my god, I'm happy to be a part of it. I'm happy your like Chunchi team
I love my
prevailed,
team.
and I
still
love that you were able to actually utilize a Gengar as your. And I was a part of that. I helped you trade for that.
Yes, you did, right.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And then I had
Can you
another
imagine if you
incident with
didn't?
you.
You would have had a Haunter in this situation. It would have been like 10 times worse.
It would have been so much worse.
Yeah.
I can't. But yeah, Gengar, Licky, Clefable, Mew, they pulled us through
Mm-hmm.
and it was so good. It was so good. Also, can I just say Mew and Clefable doing Dazzling Gleam or like Moonbeam or whatever.
Yeah.
They were just the cutest little moves I've ever seen in my life. I
The
can't.
fairy types are definitely,
They're so cute.
yeah,
And
very
they're
good.
strong too, which I love.
Yeah, fairy types are dope as hell. I love, like,
Mhm.
they're one of my favorites.
They're so strong.
I'm assuming your Gengar and Clefable are dating, and that's why they're next to each other in the.
I mean, I didn't put them next to each other on purpose.
Yeah, they look like a couple in this
They
picture.
do, huh? I
Mhm.
mean, they're like it's like My Melody and
Mhm.
what's the other one?
Kuromi.
Kuromi, yeah.
Yeah,
They're
basically.
That's basically that for the Pokemon.
Yeah,
Niantic's version of or
yeah.
whatever
Game
the
Freak.
company's. Game Freak.
Niantic just made Pokemon Go.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, that's a really fun team. Very unique. I don't think I would be surprised if there's anyone on Earth that had the
Who
same
also
team
had
as
the
you.
same team.
Yeah, Johnny looked at my team and was like, "Why do you have 2 normal types? And why do
Yeah.
you have?" And I was just like, "What do you? Don't ask me this. Like, what do you
Yeah.
mean?"
What's even funnier is if this was an older game, you would have 3 normal types because Clefable, up until Fairy type was like introduced like 10 years ago, was a normal type.
Oh
Oh
my
man.
god.
So who
Yeah.
ended up being your favorite like through the whole run? Like who were you like, yeah, this is my fucking guy? Like every time you were using him.
Probably it's a toss up between Gengar and Clefable.
Oh, nice.
I really, really liked the Moonbeam attack. It was super strong. Loved that. And I also really, really liked like putting my enemies to sleep and then just like
Oh yeah.
killing them
Just an
in the next.
assassin. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, so probably it's a toss up between those two. But my favorite one that was like walking around with me, the best
Mhm.
vibes to walk around the game was Licky Licky.
Honestly, I think you might have sent me a picture of Licky Licky at one point, and I forgot that was a fucking Pokemon.
He's
I
so
was
cute.
like, I forgot that Lickitung evolves at all. And
He's just like a chunky little boy.
he's basically like if you fucking put Kirby's head on something. Like
It's like Majin Buu, the first Majin
that would have been
Buu.
a great person for my team now that I think about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have fit the
What a
vibe.
missed opportunity that
Literally a missed opportunity, yeah. Mine was Vespiquen because she's just so funny. It like
That's the
so
like bee looking one,
yeah,
right?
so Vespiquen can only evolve if it's a female combi. Because obviously,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
so but it has a special move called Attack Order, which is a move that only it can learn, and it basically instructs a bunch of fucking bugs to attack another thing, and it's hilarious. She was also just a beast. She's a flying bug type, which is a really strong type, and then
Mhm.
was also able to learn the like rock move Power Gem, which was nice type coverage and stuff. It was just a good like never let me down.
Mhm.
And I'd never used a Vespiquen before. And now I'm like, hey, I fucking like Vespiquen. It's a good fucking Pokemon. I have this note and I want to get your take on it. Did you use the Master Ball?
I think so.
Okay. So I'm
Oh
assuming
wait.
you used it on the legendary
Yeah.
Pokemon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I like it has to be a meme at this point of because the build up to Dialga slash Palkia is like
Mhm.
so fucking big. They use like this crazy device to open up a portal to interdimensional time space. There's this
Mhm.
huge battle that happens, and then you're just like, "Boop, here's a Master Ball, and it's done." And I'm like, that is so, like you don't even have to like. I think they do it better in Arceus. They introduce the fact that you have to actually beat the Pokemon first, and I'm like, that should just be the thing. Like we're just gonna
Mhm.
use the Master Ball. Like let us beat the thing first, because there's no challenge. It's just like the music barely starts and you throw a Master Ball and it's done. And you're like, all
You know
right,
what? Maybe I didn't use a Master Ball because I distinctly remember going through a lot of Pokeballs to get the what was his name? Arceus? Nope, nope.
for you it'd be
Palkia.
Palkia. Yeah.
Yeah, Palkia. I do remember going through a lot of balls. I think I was holding on to the Master Ball. Johnny told me to hold on to it for one of the other ones,
Oh,
but then
then
I never used
how did
it.
that other one run away?
I don't know. I never got it. I just
You're saving it for that reason and you didn't use it.
yeah, I didn't end up using it.
In normal games, I usually don't use the Master Ball either because I save it for like a shiny or something if I run into it. But this time I was just like, fuck it.
Fuck it.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
do that. I do have some Elite Four notes here.
Okay, go.
So I ran through the first two. I think I used one Pokemon for the first two and just
Mhm.
completely curb stomped them.
Yeah.
I had 2 separate occasions with a magic pixel, basically with 1 HP left to
Oh,
end up
jeez.
winning against the next 2. Um, Chiaotzu, my Pachirisu, ended up being like the MVP
Mhm.
because he like would this is one of the games where you can actually like hold on like the if you build up a relationship with the Pokemon, they do stuff like they will
Mhm.
cure themselves or get a critical or whatever. He did that like 5 fucking times in a row. He like crit so
Yeah.
many times. And then there was a time where me and Cynthia both used our turn to use full restores, and it was like the hypest shit ever. Like we both just used our turn, like, nah, let's fucking like reset the board. And I was like, this is fucking crazy, dude. Um, and then there was a couple times where I just like fully like did a perfect switch in to like negate like they attacked and they did like no damage, or it was like not effective or no effect. That was hype as hell. And the most satisfying thing was just at the end, because that Garchomp is a pain in the ass.
Yes.
But Piccolo came in and just fucking two-shotted that asshole. It was incredible. But yeah, what a fight. Cynthia
What
is
a fight indeed.
Cynthia is a fucking monster. And yeah, there's a reason people love her so much. Like, it's so memorable. There's a reason people, so like a very famous Pokemon trainer, a gym leader from Gen 2 is Whitney. And the only reason is because she has a fucking mill tank that uses rollout, and she's like the second fucking gym leader. And if you can't kill that, the rollout move like doubles in power every time you use it.
Every time.
Yeah. So the reason people know Whitney and the reason I know her is just because she's a hard ass fight. And it's like, that's what happened with Cynthia. She's a really good Pokemon. It's a great fight.
She was so hard. Yeah. I'm kind of like, now that I've had a lot of space from it, I feel like I do want to go back and like play again, like through and grind all my Pokemon before the Elite Four. So
you could also go back and do a rematch with the Elite Four. You're able to do that.
Yeah, but they are like way stronger the second time.
They get about 10 levels, so not the worst, but yeah. I will say, and I'm sure Jess will back me up on this. I want you to play Pokemon Sword and Shield so bad, and then come
Jess
back on
is
the
nodding
show.
her head vigorously.
Oh yeah,
that game is
Sword and Shield.
Yeah, Sword and Shield is so fun. You've slowly been introduced via Pokemon Go, multiple Pokemon that are exclusive to that game, and you've like fallen in love with like the fucking gross Meowth and the Ponyta.
Oh yeah,
and like the big ass Pokemon. The fact that it's all based in in like UK, so there's like a bunch of hilarious fucking dialogue. The fashion in that game is top tier.
You were saying that
love the personalization. Whoa, I just had a stroke. Personalization.
Yeah. And if you've seen Jess's vlogs from Fan Fusion, she dressed up as Marnie, which is a character from Sword and Shield, which is one of the best designed characters in Pokemon.
I love her.
I did not know what you dressed up as, but I did remember seeing that.
Yeah. So if you do play that, let me know. I will gladly replay through that. I think me and Jess and Nina all started back in the day.
Way back when we first started.
Yeah, way back in the day. 2 years ago. We're officially in year 3 now, technically. But that game, the one difference is there is like pseudo open world areas, but I don't think they'll be as big of an issue for you because it's like confined to what's called the wild area. And it's just kind of like what's around the main hub city. And it's not in a way where it's like, oh, you can go basically anywhere, but like very quickly, if you go too far from the desired path, it'll be like a level 44 Pokemon. You'll be like, I probably shouldn't be here, kind of thing. So there's still kind of a guide, and I think you'll get a kick out of it. But everything else outside of the wild area is just like typical. Like you can freely move. It's not like on a I guess in Diamond and Pearl, you're able to freely move. You're not on a grid. So it's just exactly like that. So you should be able to get through it just fine, I think.
Okay. I mean, hey, I'm down. The one thing I wasn't like super stoked on with this particular Pokemon game was the underground. Like, it was nice that you could like go find and catch Pokemon that you couldn't really find up above, but like I kept getting lost. Like I don't really know why I was mining for gems and stuff, because there was like really nothing you can do with them unless you get like an excessive amount of them, and then you can have stuff you can do with them.
I only went down there to catch a Combi, and then I think like an item or two was down there that I needed, but that was it.
Yeah, that was the only thing. But I did really like the badge polishing a lot. I did that every time.
Yeah.
I love the badge
It's
polishing.
so fun.
I think
just,
you'll
like-
in Sword and Shield when you beat the gyms and other like notable trainers, you get their trainer card and it's like a collectible card. It's very cute.
Cute.
Yeah.
And you get to make your own card with like,
Mhm.
and you get to pose your character however you want. Oh, I love Sword and Shield.
Sword and Shield is very good. I think that'll be now that you've broken the seal on Pokemon
Mhm.
games, I think that would be a good follow-up for you.
Right. And
But
an update for your guys' audience is that I convinced Eric to get Pokemon Sleep and
yeah,
have converted him to a Pokemon
I'm
Sleeper.
on
So
like
Jess, you're next.
I'm on like week 14 or something like that.
Yeah, we're at like friendship level 4, which you get to
Yeah.
friendship level 5 after like 100 days or something like that.
Yeah. So
So you're getting
quite-
there.
quite a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm checking right now what my most recent.
Yes, it's a sleep tracker, and you get to feed the Pokemon that like show up little cookies in the morning, and
Yeah.
you can like befriend them, and they collect berries to feed your Snorlax.
Yep.
It's really cute.
All right, guess who's downloading it?
Yes.
Number of
You
days
have to
logged
message
in.
me.
100 officially.
Hey.
So 682 hours of sleep. Some
Where
of them
am I
have
at?
been only at 3 hours at a time.
That's
because
crazy.
of life. Yeah.
I
But
would
yeah,
never.
I have that. There's also the Pokemon TCG Pocket
Mhm.
game that just came out. I recommend everyone download that because if you just want to treat it like a pack opening simulator, you get to do that twice a day. So pretty cool. I'll probably be going on some podcasts soon to talk about that game. But I don't think there's anything else. Grace, are you a traditional Pokemon game player now? Do you consider
Yeah.
yourself? Yeah.
I do. I love it. I'm obsessed. I love it. I will never figure out how to actually play it. I'm just going to continue with just vibes only.
Hey, honestly, that's the nice thing about Pokemon games is most of the time you can just do that.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. I forget what the other gimmick in Sword and Shield is now that I'm thinking about it because there's always like there's the Gigantamax stuff, but usually there's like a side thing you can do. Like did you do any of the contests? There was contests in Diamond
I
and Pearl.
did, but I did not understand what was happening at
Mhm.
any point. I was very confused. But again, that's partially because I just smashed past all the dialogue. So then I was like, what the fuck is happening?
That's kind of on you on that one, I gotta say.
Yeah.
I know that in Sword and Shield you could do the lottery and then
Right.
also send your Pokemon that are in the boxes to go do little like work things for you.
Yes, and that reminded me. It's camping is the other thing.
Oh yeah, you could camp and you could cook for your Pokemon.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait, that's really cute.
In the wild area, yeah, you get like a first person view. You camp and you make food and you can like throw the ball to the Pokemon and like play with them and stuff. Yeah, Grace,
That's really
you'll
cute.
like it.
Yeah.
So play that game. Come on back. We'll talk more Pokemon. Grace is our exception to like playing the Pokemon games because obviously this was more than 25 hours.
Yes.
It says on Grace's 59 hours and 54 seconds.
Yes. I played it for so fucking long.
And still beat it before I did.
Right.
Yeah. But okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's it. This was so fun. I could talk Pokemon forever. So thank you for bringing Pokemon back onto the channel. And do you want to talk about your season 2 or do you want to just plug your current stuff you got going on with your show?
Yeah, I'm just going to plug the current stuff cuz okay, here's the thing.
Is this
Season
off the
2.
record?
No, this is on record. I just want the audience to know. Season 2 is on the way. I got 6 weeks left in my semester and I have 6 essays left. So,
Yeah.
and they're all like, so I'm taking like essentially for undergrad it's a senior seminar class, so it's like the uppermost level class that you can take as your undergrad. And grad students first semester, first year, whatever, can take them, but they get one extra essay per class, and also all the essays have to be significantly longer because you're doing grad work. It's going for grad credit. So, like, I
So
am
in
swamped.
God's name, an unseen cult is
Yes, it's on pause.
It's on
It's on a
pause.
hard pause. 6
Yeah.
weeks though. I think we can get through it, and then
Oh, yeah.
hopefully I can get back and like bust out the rest of season 2. But season 2 is coming. Please be patient. Thank you. And season 1's out there, and there's a ton of bonus episodes now. Because I've just been constantly thinking and reworking ideas and putting it out there because I am having fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to listen to what being recruited into a cult was like for the people who were in it for 20 years, you check me out. It's In God's Name, an unseen cult. My Instagram handle is the same, just In God's Name pod. You can find my link tree.
It'll all be in the description.
Thanks,
It'll be
Eric.
in the show notes. Yes, you got it. Yeah, that is it's a good listen. Everyone should go listen to that. That being said, we have our socials. Jess, would you take it away?
We are at Short Long Pod almost everywhere, on like every platform basically. And there you could find our, like, in the bios there's our link tree, and it'll be in the show description as well. And in the link tree you could find the link to our Discord group, the LFG Leveling Friends group. And yeah.
Yeah, we're all over the internet. Bluesky is starting to pop off a bit. So if you're missing Twitter for whatever reason, head over there. I basically am mostly posting on Threads and Instagram for the show, and then me personally on Bluesky. So if you want to join me there, feel free. Next episode will not be a short game long talk, will not be a between the games. It'll be the Game of the Year episode that I'm recording next week, which will probably be like 3.5 hours long. So I have a lot of editing ahead of me.
Good luck to you.
Yeah, that'll come out probably towards the end of this month. Then after that is just one more episode for the year. It'll be the Game of the Year Spectacular. We're going to pin all 12 episodes, or all 12 games that we played this year against each other to see which one is the best. And that'll be fun. Me and Jess are hopefully going to do that in person. We haven't recorded in person in like a year. It's been a very long time. I think it was like last October, literally for Five Nights at Freddy's. So yeah, that's the plan. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, and it's your first time listening, please leave a review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. It really helps the show grow. If you're doing it on Apple, leaving an actual like typed out review, even if it's short, really helps get us noticed. That's starting to go up a little bit. Spotify is still quite a bit ahead. If you're a returning listener, if you're one of the many people that joined us for the Doki Doki Literature Club episode, and you saw that Grace was back, you're like, sick, and I'm here again. Go find another person that would probably enjoy this episode as well, and just help share it along, whether it's on social media or just a text or whatever. But with that being said, don't forget to kidnap your friends.
Later.
Bye.
It's all good. I'm going to edit most of this out, so just to make things simpler.
Put this shit out, Eric.